Good morning, Peter here. Just about every conversation I have these days seems to have something to do with politics. Everybody has an opinion. We're in the midst of a heated presidential election, and that shows no signs of letting up for the next 90 days or so, at least until we actually have the election. And just recently I was in a conversation in which various opinions were being expressed, and it was really quite stimulating and invigorating. But at one point, one person in the conversation simply called out, well, do not put your trust in princes. And with this statement, they were expressing a little bit of wisdom that actually comes to us from the book of Psalms. Do not put your trust in princes. And it's a warning that as important as our political leadership is, and as critical as that leadership is to the future health and vitality of our country, we should take a bit of pause before we make that step of placing our sense of trust and confidence for the future in those elected officials, in our case, those who are in political authority. There's someplace else that we should really place our ultimate trust and confidence. And that is the message behind the 146th Psalm. And that is also the psalm in which we find that warning against putting our trust in princes or those in political leadership. So I'd like to read the psalm for you this morning as an opportunity to just reflect a little bit on where the psalmist thinks we should be putting our sense of confidence for the future. So the 146th Psalm. Praise the Lord, O my soul. I will praise the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praises to my God all my life long. Do not put your trust in princes, in mortals in whom there is no help. When their breath departs, they return to the earth. On that very day their plans perish. Happy are those whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord their God, who made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, who keeps faith forever, who executes justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry. The Lord sets the prisoners free. The Lord opens the eyes of the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the strangers. He upholds the orphan and the widow, but the way of the wicked he brings to ruin. The Lord will reign forever, your God, O Zion, for all generations. Praise the Lord. What the author of this psalm is inviting us to do is choose intentionally to place our sense of trust and confidence for the future in God and in God alone. We do have earthly leaders, whether they're princes or kings or presidents, but ultimately those are human beings, and their leadership will ultimately fall short and fail. It is of a very limited duration. And so if we choose to put our trust in God, what is it that God is doing? Well, the psalmist wants us to know God not only created all things, but God is continuing to create good things. God is keeping faith with the creation, working for what is just and what is right, bringing healing into people's lives and into the creation itself, lifting up those who are bowed down and beaten, and strengthening those and including those who are strangers and who are excluded. God is always at work in the world for the good. Because God created the world, God can be trusted. And so when we're tempted to give up, when we think that maybe the world we live in doesn't have the leadership that it needs or that we deserve, we can be tempted to rely overly on politics and political solutions. And those are very important. It's important to exercise our right to vote, but it's also important that we remember ultimately God is the one in whom we should place our trust and our confidence. And I hope you find good occasion to do that today. Have a great one.